Hi, Jesse with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Benton Shifts&Grins 2-bike bike rack, and we'll see how it fits on our 2021 Honda CR-V. This is going to be a platform style bike rack, which just means that it's going to hold the bike standing upright by the tires. Here's the tire mount here. You can also use this, push this back and mount it on the frame. One advantage of being able to mount on the wheel here is maybe you got a new bike or a nice paint job on your bike or even a carbon frame, something like that. You don't have to worry about getting scratches having that mount rubbing against it. The nice thing about having the option to switch back and forth, it just gives you a lot more versatility, especially if you're loading multiple bikes on the rack or if you're adding on the 2-bike add-on and you have 4 racks on here. It's just going to give you a lot more options for mounting points. The weight capacity on this rack is going to be 55 pounds per bike, and the rack itself weighs about 63.5 pounds. So if you are fully loading this and then having the additional 2-bike add-on, just be mindful of that. Make sure that your hitch and your vehicle are capable of carrying that weight. Another feature that's really nice about this rack is the tilt function. It's super easy to use. You just push this button. The rack will slowly tilt. With your bike tilted out of the way, you're free to open up your hatch. As you can see, there's plenty of space between the pedal there and the hatch as it opens. Now we're free to grab anything that we might need out of the back, maybe rest your feet after a long ride on the trails. And then you can close it back up, walk around. Once you're ready to tilt your bike back into place, just push the button. I would recommend supporting a lot of weight on the rack, not pushing too much on your bike. Just lift it up till it locks into place and you're ready to drive off. We have a strap on each wheel, so when we're ready to unload our bike, we'll just come here, push this button in. That strap will slide right out. Do the same with the front. Then move on to our wheel mount. We save this for last because it's supporting the bike. Fold that down. And then the bike's ready to come off. Now with the bike off the rack, we'll get this arm out of the way. It just tilts over into the middle. And a closer look at our cradle here. You can see this narrow groove in the middle. That's going to be for your road bike tires. And then this wider portion will fit a tire up to 4 inches wide. As far as the wheelbase goes, for adjustments, you just undo this knob and this cradle will slide back and forth. This will fit up to a maximum of a 48-inch wheelbase. For a couple measurements, from the bumper to the furthest point out will be 33.5 inches. So that's going to be the amount that this sticks out past your vehicle. The ground clearance here on the rear looks like 17.5 inches. And from over here, the lowest part looks like 10.5 inches. So that's plenty of ground clearance. You really shouldn't have to worry about scraping on the ground at all. With this rack being on the heavier side, you're probably not going to want to remove it from your hitch every time you're going to go driving. So when you are driving, you'll most likely have it in the folded position. Just tilt it up there. And with these arms here, I like to just tuck them into the cradle. That way they're not swinging around as you're driving, maybe hitting your vehicle. In this folded position, we do save a lot of space, as you can see. From the rear of the bumper, that brings that down to 19 inches. So you're not sticking out too far from the back of the vehicle. With how low this rack sits in the folded position and how high the taillights are on this CR-V, it's definitely not going to block any view of those. However, the rear view camera is pretty low on this vehicle, and it's definitely obstructing your view through that camera. And it will set off your parking assistant, that alarm that goes off. So every time you hop in your car and drive, you will have to turn that off. While you are able to open the hatch with the rack in this folded position, If you have this arm set up towards the middle, it looked like it was going to make contact, so it might just be a good idea to remove that arm and then open it, and then you'll see how close it is to the rack. So as for opening the hatch with the rack in this folded position, it might just be easier to go ahead and tilt it back down, open it up, get whatever you need, and then close it, and then tilt it back up. This rack comes with a 2-inch shank that will fit into a 2-inch receiver, and it will come with a anti-rattle pin. However, here at etrailer, we like to recommend a locking pin like this style, just to make sure that your rack's secure and nobody can just go and grab it. The first time you put the rack into your hitch, you can use this adjuster. That way, after that first time, you won't have to worry about lining up this hole. You'll just push it in as far as it'll go, and your pin should slide right in. With that anti-rattle pin, you don't have to worry about this rack shaking around with your bikes on it. You don't have to worry about any additional noise or anything like that. But all in all, I think this is a great choice for bike racks, especially if sometimes maybe you ride by yourself or with one other person and you also go on group rides, or you need to add a couple more bikes onto the end. You do have the ability, if you purchase the 2-bike add-on, to change this into a 4-bike carrier. But in the end, I think this is a great fit on our 2021 Honda CR-V.